Hello and welcome to today's lesson. Our presenters for today are Alton Henry, Dishage Phipps, and yours truly, Danae Forbes. Today, we will be discussing how a simple lab procedure can be utilized to determine the volume of an irregular shaped object. However, we'll first explore the process for creating improvised models of a Eureka Can and a tripod stand. When creating our tripod stand, we first measured and marked the lengths of wood to be used. Second, we obtained a triangular piece of wood and removed the inner triangle. Third, we sawed the triangle to smoothen the edges and sides. Fourth, we obtained 3 stands of equal size and length. Fifth, we glued each stand to each edge of the triangle. Then lastly, we left the glue to dry and thus we obtained our tripod stand, creating our Eureka Can. First, a marker was used to mark guidelines around the bottle. Next, a stencil knife was used to cut along the guidelines to separate the top from the bottom. Next, a hole was made near the top of the bottom half of the bottle. An empty pen shell was cut and one end was sharpened. Afterwards, the sharpened end was inserted into the hole that was made. The nozzle was then fastened in by the use of super glue. The super glue also sealed any openings around the nozzle to prevent leakage.
Alright, so now we'll be looking into the procedure of how to carry out the lab in terms of finding the volume of an irregular shaped object. So our apparatus are a thread, Eureka Can, tripod stand, measuring cylinder, a rock which is tied with a thread. Alright, and over on the other side you can see a tissue that will be used to clean out the measuring cylinder later on. Alright, so first we're going to pour some water inside of the Eureka Can to let it overflow to ensure that the volume of water that is in the Eureka Can is the exact amount. Alright, so once the Eureka Can fills up and the water is completely poured out, then we'll know that it is at that exact point before it runs out. So that way we can accurately find the volume of water of the object. Alright, later on you will see where the Eureka Can, the nozzle of the Eureka Can is tapped a couple of times just to ensure that all of the water has been let out of it.
2 hours later.
Alright, so all of the water will be disposed of out of the measuring cylinder and the measuring cylinder dried. Alright, so now the stone will be lowered slowly into the Eureka Can until it is completely submerged in the bottom of the Eureka Can, and then the water will be allowed to flow into the measuring cylinder. Alright, to ensure that all of the water is caught inside of the measuring cylinder is held up to the Eureka Can. And once all of the water has been caught inside of the measuring cylinder, then it will be placed and read at eye level to determine the volume of the stone, which is our irregular shaped object.
2 hours later.
The limitation of the tripod stand for both face-to-face and online classes include not being able to be used with a Bunsen burner because it is made of wood, therefore its sole purpose is to elevate the Eureka Can. The limitation of the Eureka Can for face-to-face classes include: 1. Super glue was used to hold the sprout in place and to seal the area where it was inserted. Super glue is waterproof, but is usually weakened by prolonged exposure to water. The limitations during online classes are as follows. 1. Students would have to use a measuring cup because they would not have a measuring cylinder at home. The measurement from the measuring cup might not be as accurate as that of a measuring cylinder because of the difference in calibration of the two instruments. 2. Some measuring cups only have the units cups and ounces. Therefore, students will have to do a conversion to get their answers in milliliters, and this will be time consuming. 3. Not all students will have measuring cups at home.